This is Croven back once again with T-Days. For this match, we have the United Corporations against Macros versus Advocated Destruction. United Corporation against Macros has brought a Tempest Fleet issue, a Raven Navy issue, a Basilisk, 2 Curses, 2 Manticores, an Ishkur, and a Retribution.
And for Advocated Destruction, we have 2 Dominics, also 2 Curses, a Rook, a Hurricane, and an Aneros.
So again, two very different setups from one another. We've got 10 minutes until the match starts. Going to be interesting to see. I'm looking at these Manticores right now. I'm very curious to see what they do once the clock hits 0, which it just has.
Yes, obviously not very many bombers so far been seen in the tournament. No damage from either side at this time, but some NOS Newt action going on, obviously with all these curses on the field. That was not entirely unexpected. A bomb has just been launched from at least one of the Manticores. Let's watch that go off as one of them goes down.
Yeah, we did see bombs going. One of the Manticores has already dropped. The bomb has now exploded in the middle of the Advocated Destruction team. A lot of shield damage now on quite a few of the ships in the center there for Advocated Destruction. The second Manticore, however, did go down very shortly thereafter, but not without doing a fair amount of damage.
Yeah, I don't know whether that second bomb hit or not, whether they killed him fast enough that it didn't affect, but certainly the shield damage that the Advocated Destruction team have shouldn't really worry them that much. They're obviously armour tanking with the Aneros there, or at least that's what they're projecting. It could be playing a blinder, but I suspect they are armour tanked.
As I say, we have seen a team armor tanking with a Vulture, or, well, who should have been armor tanking with a Vulture on the field, so never take anything for granted, I suppose. Now the Basilisk for United Corporations against Macros taking some damage. He's at about 50% shields now, and we'll see, it looks like there are actually armor bots on that Basilisk, interestingly enough.
Yes, certainly. With all the curses on the field, I imagine that the Basilisk is probably going to be capped out in short order, and he's dropping quite heavily into armour now. Obviously, going to die very, very soon. There he goes. It didn't take long at all. I suspect the Aneros is also going to be under some pressure from the other curses, so they're obviously very, very powerful against these logistics setups.
Yeah, and the friendly curses were sending him cap as well, but it just wasn't enough. And now we're seeing this Caldari Navy Raven has closed in on one of the Advocated Destruction Dominixes and is using torpedoes. And as well, the Fleet Tempest is using 800mm autocannons, so quite a bit of DPS coming out of these two ships. But the Aneros seems to be helping the Dominix hang in there without too much difficulty. As now we're seeing one of the UCAM curses now dipping deep into shields.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any NOS Newt going on the Aneros, which surprised me a little bit. Obviously the curses are on one side or other newting the stuff out. Yes, one of them. I'm trying to work out which one. Yes.
Yeah, first curse now for United Corporations against Macros has gone down. I'm looking at the Aneros for Advocated Destruction. There are a lot of a lot of armor bots on him, I suppose, as a precaution. He had lost all of his shields, but is now starting to regen. So it seems that he's going to be that he's been targets have shifted elsewhere to the Dominix, as we see still quite a bit of spread damage against the Advocated Destruction team. One of the curses now taking armor damage, immediately being recovered by the Aneros, as the second curse for United Corporations against Macros now at about 15% shields, and without that Basilisk, he's not going to last much longer.
Yes, at this point the United Corporation against Macros, they have a Tempest Fleet issue, a Raven Navy issue, a Curse which is just dropped, so they don't have that anymore, Retribution which is just taking some shield damage, and an Ishkur. And on the Advocated Destruction team we still have 2 Dominics, 2 Curse, a Rook, a Hurricane and an Aneros, and none of them in any real danger at this point. They've all pulled their armour back, that Aneros obviously earning its keep.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And we're seeing once again, just like we discussed, expensive setups not necessarily being the way to assure victory in the system with points. The Caldari Navy Raven now for United Corporations against Macros taking some damage. He's down to about 75% shield. Meanwhile, again, no ship on Advocated Destruction's side seems to be in any significant damage. Looks like, let's see, I know that the Dommies dropped sentry drones at the beginning of the fight. I'm curious whether or not they're still using those.
Yeah, and I'm seeing very little fire, if any, coming out of this Raven Navy issue. I'm assuming that the Rook on the Advocated Destruction side has now managed to lock both of these battleships down. I imagine he's probably got the right jammer for each of these race ships and is just cycling them away.
Yeah, and it does look like that those Dominixes do in fact still have their sentry drones active, which is also going to be contributing a significant chunk of DPS on this Raven, which is now in armor, and it appears to be it may be armor tanking. I'm a little curious. It's the armor is holding out. Okay, no, now it's going down rather quickly. I almost thought we had a mercenary coalition moment there with the armor tanking CNR, but it looks like as it leaks into structure that no, it is going to be going down rather quickly. The retribution for United Corporations against Macro is also in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, we've just about to lose that Raven Navy. It's not quite gone yet. There it goes, finally. So we have for United Corporations against Macros a Tempest Fleet issue, half a Retribution, and an Ishka fighting against two Dominics, two Curse, Rook, Hurricane, and an Eros. And with those recons on the field for Advocated Destruction, I imagine that there's absolutely no cap left on any of these ships on the other side, and the Rook's got them probably locked down.
I think that's a very safe assumption to make. I see Nosanu animations going to every remaining ship on United Corporations against Macros. Looks like there are some light armor drones on that Fleet Tempest, but it's not going to help. The Fleet Tempest Fleet Tempest is capable of quite a decent shield tank while maintaining a rather high amount of DPS, and obviously the Raven, I'm not sure if he was omni-tanked or if it was just some kind of fluke of the damage coming in that made it look like he may have been buffer tanked on armor as well. If that's the case, then it's pretty obvious why this match went the way it did. But otherwise, it's still interesting to see that they seem to have opted for an armor tanking setup with two faction shield tanking battleships, at least with their logistics drones. They're all armor logistics drones at this point.
Yeah, it could be an idea to actually have the armor logistics drones to cope with any bleed through from shields when the basilisks might be jammed, but it certainly hasn't worked here, whatever they were trying to do. As the Ishka goes down, those rep drones should die, and we've just got the Tempest Fleet issue left on his own.
Yeah, and actually, are those... It looks like the drones may still be going on the Tempest. I'm curious, maybe Advocated Destruction feels that they need to give him a fighting chance. I'm not real sure at this point. He's down to about 10% armor, though, quickly going to hit structure. And actually, we're hearing a ransom in local. We may have a ransom here to end this match.
They definitely have. Well, they did have armor maintenance bots, medium ones, actually, on the opposing team. That's something we haven't seen so far. Unfortunately, the Tempest is now dead, and with that, the match is won by Advocated Destruction. And back to Soundwave.